welcome to the Malted Minis, brought to you by the Malting Hour. I am one of your hosts, Tony Golick, joined always with
Brandon Winninger.
Brandon. We got another little short beer review. Not so much an after the final pour, but, just a solid single beer. Well, I hope it's solid, but a single beer. I'm saying solid because I'm already smelling it. But what are we drinking?
We are drinking from Destihl Brewery out of Normal, Illinois, Dosvidanya's Bourbon Barrel. That's just what I'm reading the description.
I was going to say, I've got the description.
It says Dosvidanya Bourbon Barrel. I'm reading the link that you sent me.
Oh, nice.
This one is not, there's no adjuncts to this, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So, I'm going to butcher this.
Yeah, that's why I wanted you to do it.
Like a Matryoshka or nesting doll. Oh, Matryoshka. The little nesting dolls. Yeah. The secret of Dosvidanya Imperial Stout lies locked deep within her mysterious and elaborate wooden layers. The hidden soul of this oak bourbon barrel-aged beer that we said Dosvidanya, or farewell to several months before revealing, is its rich flavors like dark chocolate, toffee, black cherries, and coffee, along with robust and roasty maltiness that finishes dry.
It is 14.6% ABV. 84 IBUs. They use 2-row chocolate malt, roasted barley, wheat, black malt, caramel malt, 120 Munich malt, Victory malt, extra special dark, and some rice hulls because you don't want it to get all clogged up. They also, they put awards they won with it. Great American Beer Fest, bronze in 2015. Festival of Wood and Barrel Aged Beers, gold 2015. Festival of Wood and Barrel Aged Beers, Best in Show 2015. And Beer Hoptacular Beer of the Year in 2011. Brandon, have you ever had one of these before?
I have, and I actually, the first time I had it was at FOBAB 2015. And I don't remember if I had gotten it and then they won, or if I'd had, or if they'd won and then I was like, oh, I gotta go find that. I think I just had it. Then they did the announcements or whatever, and I had it again. And I was in love with it. I was like, this was a fantastic beer. And from my first sip now, like, it's still a fantastic beer.
It smells so good.
Yeah.
This is, I wish there was a candle. A candle that I could buy that was just barrel-aged stout. No shit. Like, I really, it's one of my favorite things about pouring a barrel-aged beer is that going in and smelling it and getting everything off of it, of like chocolate, vanilla, woodiness, boozy, actual bourbon. It's one of the greatest things about beer.
There's so many things that we talk about, especially on the show, about things that should be a candle. Should start making candles.
That's weird. You say that, I'm like, we do? We do! Other than, if it's a nice beer to drink by a fire.
But in my head, I'm like, how could you impart this?
Someone's got to be doing it. There are hop candles. I know there were hop candles out there at one point.
Yeah, and I think they probably just use hop oils or something.
There's got to be a way to get this into a candle. Because I want it, and I'd burn it all the time.
Well, because then
Laura would lose her mind.
For a second, I was like, oh, you can just get the wax warm and then smoke it. And I'm like, wait, that's completely different. Because then I was thinking about how we were talking about smoking water. Making drinks with
I thought you and I had talked about that before. When
I think we did.
It's great to make ice cubes with for
Yeah, after you mentioned saying that you had wanted to do that before, I was like, oh, we might have talked about this in the past.
Well, we should. We really should soon.
Yeah.
Easy enough.
If we do our...
ham?
No. Yes. If we do a picnic or something this year.
Yeah, that's also what I was thinking about. But anyways, we'll get back to all that stuff another time. This is my first time, I think, having just the regular barrel-aged version. The only other version, this is from 2022, I believe. I don't think it came out in 2023. I don't know if there's a year on there. I'm not 100% sure.
It was canned on November 3rd, 2022.
So I feel like it was released in 2022 or early 2023. Regardless, there was 3 that were released as far as what I've seen on the shelves, which is the regular bourbon barrel-aged version, a rye barrel-aged version, and then a s'mores barrel-aged. I think it's barrel-aged. The s'mores is the one that I got, and I'm pretty sure my check-in was like marshmallow, vanilla, chocolate, barrel, and it was awesome. I think, I don't know, Friday night or a Saturday night, I cracked it open, and I really, really enjoyed it. That's why I knew when I would go back to where I got this, that if they still had them, I was going to grab one for us to have, and here we are having it. It's we've talked about barrel-aged beers so much that it's almost just kind of become, I hope nobody's annoyed about it, but barrel-aged beers are just so good and so complex. Like, we've had hits, we've had misses. This is a hit, man. This is what I want from a barrel-aged beer. I get like the notes of toffee and some chocolate. There's some roastiness to it. There's no alcohol burn, but there's that alcohol bourbon flavor, and there's a woodiness to it as well. I mean, like they said, there's layers of wood because of, like the Dell.
Wood.
I get it. That's fantastic.
So I just, because I was on the site, I just happened to look at their menu to see what they currently have on tap. They have a Dosvidanya Rye Barrel.
That's the other one that's available.
And a Dosvidanya Black Band Double Barrel.
What? Yeah. This beer is a double barrel. Would be interesting. Mm-hmm. It's not a very thick beer. It is. I'd say it's like medium body. Little tiny bubbles in there. And I like that it's got the nice tan head on it, because I do like stouts that have like that rich dark head on it. Mm-hmm. And it's funny, you and I have two different types of glasses. There's still like a nice layer of like head on mine.
Yep.
But I've also done this a whole bunch. Like when you swirl it around, it does get like a bit of that like darker tan brownish head. And
yep.
I always like that. I feel like it's appealing to look at. Yeah, it's also a great way to open up the aroma of beers, by the way, guys.
Yeah, when you're going into barrel aged wines or
wine, yes,
barrel aged wine. All wine is technically, mostly wines are big.
They're in a barrel,
of some sort. I think some are doing them in steel. Now.
They're steel. Yeah. I've had some really good stainless steel white wine.
Didn't City Winery do that? I think it's
a great question. We'll have to ask Clark. Clark, run that for us.
I remember. Totally going off my original topic, which was swirling barrel aged beers is kind of like, it's synonymous now with like swirling wine and like opening it up.
It's the best thing. It's a good way if you have an aged one to shake off some of if there's oxidation.
Yep,
it's a good way to shake it off or wake up some of the adjuncts that maybe you were hoping to get. I do it all the time. Like, it really makes it just smell so good. Like doing this. It's fudgy, It's got like this fudgy, aroma,
fudgy taste, but when you talk about the mouthfeel, it's light in body to where we've had beers where it was almost like it felt like borderline drinking fudge, like melted fudge.
So good.
Fellowship Azul,
more of it.
Yeah, man, I was so mad that they didn't have it, but they had some good beers there.
Absolutely.
We're talking about.
Yeah, who are we talking about?
Modern Times.
Damn it, I was hoping to see us push it. Yeah, who are we talking about?
Yeah.
I always want to say WeldWorks. It's not always WeldWorks.
No. Well, WeldWorks was definitely...
Also fantastic. Yeah. Anyways, so you're right. It is swirling, like... And it shakes off a little of the carbonation, too, and it doesn't bother me. No. Especially as I'm getting down to, like, the end of this glass. Like, it's warmed up. I've swirled it a bunch. The aroma, to me, is almost as important as the taste. Like... I've said it so many times that if there was a way to have, like, beers taste amazing without any alcohol and it not be, like, terrible for you. Like, imagine if barrel-aged stout that tasted like this was non-alcoholic. Like, how amazing would that be?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I would be slamming them all the time because not all the time, but I just love the way it tastes. I really, really do. It's the same thing with, like, really good like hazy IPAs where it gets very filling because it's a little heavy. Not that this is heavy, but I'm just saying, like, I really wish. I'm looking forward to the day where we have we're getting close perfecting non-alcoholic beers.
Yeah, I think every year I'm more and more blown away with the stuff that's coming out, and I was super happy that there was such a good showing of it at Great American Beer Festival.
Yeah.
And that's a category now, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yes, yeah, because Sam Adams won with Wicked Hazy.
Yep, that's right. Super excited.
Boston Beer Company.
Yeah, super excited to try more of those. And yeah,
Hop Waters. Like man,
this year there's going to be even more stuff coming out, I'm sure. So that'd be cool.
The beginning of this year, I was buying a lot of Hop Waters. I need to go back to Whole Foods and get some more of those. Those are very, like, I like carbonated water as it is, but like when you throw in some of those hops in there, And the thing is that it's about $10 for one of those 6-packs.
Yep.
So I treat them like beer when I have them. It's like, oh, I'm going to treat myself to this tonight. But I'm treating myself to it and not, putting alcohol in my body.
Yeah, I really liked the hoppy refresher lineup. This year.
Dude, those were so good.
Yeah.
And I think this summer we should buy some of those and then make cocktails with them. I really want to. I really, really want to. And I did just see, for the first time finally, out in the wild, the mixed Revolution Freedom Lemonade with the regular lemonade and the strawberry lemonade. Ooh. And I almost bought it. It was on sale for like $18. 12-pack, 6 of each.
Mix all those together.
Oh, God. Yeah. Dude,
strawberry lemonade.
I'm so excited to have that this summer, to have that. And then the hoppy refreshers, too. I'd like to have a nice, we totally went off topic, but I'd like to have a nice mix like that for the summer, because it's nice to, now that there's other options of hoppy water or non-alcoholic beers, imagine going into a cooler, okay? And so you've got really good IPAs, some good lagers, maybe someone brought over a barrel-aged stout, but you also have hoppy water and sour lemonades that are sessionable. And it's just, man, it's nice because it's oh, I want a beer, but feeling kind of buzzed. I should probably start drinking some water. Yeah. Oh, hoppy water. Oh, and it's flavored hoppy water. Yep. That's so nice. I love it.
Yeah, somebody asked the question to Lagunitas, because they're opening their Chicago tap room again next week. And the thing I read an article about it saying that they're going to have 32 taps again. I don't know what's going to all be on tap right now, but people were are you going to have your hop waters on tap and your NA beers on tap? And I didn't see a response, but I'd hope so. I can't imagine a world why they wouldn't do that. Why not?
Or if they don't have it on tap right away, at least have it ready for.
But even then, I can't even imagine them having 32 beers ready to go.
By the way, I was this close to buying a 6-pack of Waldo, the triple IPA, but then I thought about it and I'm like, I don't want 5 triple. I was going to bring one for us to have and then one for you to have, but even at that, I don't need 4 triple IPAs in my house right now. In general, not that it's
what's the ABV on that?
Probably close. I actually have no idea. Good question.
Yeah. Clark,
you got 2 questions now. We need you to check it out for us. Yeah, Waldo's Special Ale is so good. But anyways, yeah, I'm looking forward to that for the summer, of being able to have, now there's more of a diversity of things that are going to be, in my cooler. And I think instead of, going overboard, when we have people over, I remember when our friends came up from North Carolina, it was a lot of fun because I went to Binny's and I got, a bunch of local lagers and then, 2 IPAs or something. It was so much fun to have all that. It's going to be even nicer now when we have the block party or people come by for a big party to buy some beers, but then also I'm I'm going to throw some hoppy waters in there, and then some of the the Lagunitas stuff that's also flavored hoppy waters, the hoppy refreshers, just so that there is that mix of things to have, the selection, the variety. To keep the that's a great way to have a very long day. Or even some of the NA beers, the Wicked Hazy. Actually, now that I think about it, I want a cooler of non-alcoholic stuff, and then all the hoppy waters and shit like that, stuff that would be great. So that's when you reach a certain point during the day where you're you know what, I need to relax. I've had enough, but I still want to enjoy something tasty that's not soda or just regular water, which you should always drink regular water regardless. But hoppy water is just as good. I don't know about how the carbonation is doing to our guts or our teeth. I don't know about all that shit. But NA beers as well. The Athletic Brew is delicious. The Sam Adams stuff is good. There's still a bunch that I haven't tried. Brooklyn. Didn't Brooklyn Brewing do?
Yep.
Yeah, they've got some. I've actually had when I did dryish January. I had the NA Heineken. Not that I like Heineken.
So did I.
By any means.
I think
but
I texted you about it.
You were at the Bears game.
Yeah.
Which to me, that would have been too hard. Because you were surrounded by Bourbon County. I'd be fuck it, I'm done.
At the Bears game? No.
Yeah. Well, you said you were with Pat, right?
No, at the Hawks game.
Wait, I thought when you were at the Bears game...
Oh, yes. Yep, no.
Yeah,
Pat brought a bunch of Bourbon County.
Yeah. I would have been sorry, Brandon. And I probably would have been a bad influence. Be come on, it's one day. Let's do this. But like the Heineken, I have regained my thought here. 2 barrel-aged beers now back to back. The Heineken, as much as I don't really care for Heineken, it was kind of nice to be like, wow, it's 0 alcohol. Tastes like beer. You know what I mean? Like, it was actually kind of good.
It wasn't that far off from having an actual Heineken.
No.
And I was okay with that.
Love, but I was in a bar surrounded by a whole bunch of people who were drinking, so I was like, I had like 5 of them. You know what I mean? And I was like, this is great. And I went home and was like, oh, cool. I don't feel like shit.
Yeah. No, and I'll agree that like Heineken's not my favorite thing to drink. I drank my share of Heineken back in the day, but
and Rolling Rock.
Yep. But if I'm gonna have a non-alcoholic beer and it tastes similar to its
beer, like what it's supposed to be. Which is kind of nice about the Wicked Hazy, because Wicked Hazy from Boston Beer Company, Sam Adams, is like, dude, you can drink that all the time.
Yeah, dude. Like I think the first night I got it, like we had it at GABF. Yeah. But the first like 6-pack I got, I only got one. But I think that night I drank like 3 of them. And I was like,
the first time I got it, I had like 2 of them, and I was like, I should not. Yeah. I mean, it's still calories, you know what I mean? It's like drinking.
And I was like, I was more like, I'm not gonna be hungover, but I'm gonna be bloated as hell from all the carbonation.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and that's like the Athletic. Man, it'd be great to have them. Athletic Brewing, all their NA beers. Yeah, they're really good. And for Black History Month, they did Soul Sour that I got for free
your birthday,
for my birthday. I still got one left for
us. I will say
it's so good. It's such a good beer.
When Athletic Brewing first came out, I was not a huge fan.
Neither was I.
Like, I was just like, these are like watery.
They do a lot of stuff through
Trash Panda beers.
Yeah. They do a lot of stuff through their website, which is cool to order from. I wish that the non-alcoholic beer, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Not rush. Audience was a bit bigger, because then they put out more styles. Like, I want to try their stout. Mm-hmm. They have a coffee stout that I wanted to try, but I also, sorry, Athletic Brewing, I didn't want to spend $15 with shipping and handling to get a 6-pack of something that I didn't know if I was going to like or not. But I do have more faith in it, because we had a sour at GABF, and then I got their sour, a different sour, in February for my birthday, and like I said, I've got one left to share with you. It's so good. Soul Sour. It was like, I'm not even going to say what it would taste like. It's just really good. I loved it. I wish I could just have that on hand all the time at home. It's so good.
Yeah.
Anyways, we totally got off track from this bourbon barrel aged.
Start to come back.
Here we go.
Waldo's the Waldo's is 11.7% ABV.
Yeah, see, I don't need like a 4-pack of that sitting around, because then it's like a Saturday night where it's like, oh, that's good. I had that. And it's like, well,
that's the bad thing about having my fucking Belgian triple on tap.
That's why I stayed away from it. That's why I went for the random lager in your little fridge.
I was like, yeah, I'll have one. Like, so I've been limiting myself to like 3-ounce pours. Partially because I don't want to drink it all. Because if by some fluke fucking miracle I get first place, if I don't have to brew it again,
yeah, that makes sense.
I can just fill up stuff from that.
But if you do need to brew it, I'm here to help you.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I have I've got to go pick up my tap handle from.
Have you? I don't think we've talked. Have we talked about that? You've actually submitted it here on the podcast?
I don't know. We may have briefly.
Oh, now's the time.
Yeah. So the Belgian triple that Tony and I started with.
This is all your brew,
several years ago, and then I decided to give it a shot. I think in 2020. No,
before
2021.
That? Oh, okay, yeah.
Yes, because this is the 3rd time I've done it. So 2023. So 2021, I decided, you know what, I'm going to give it a shot on my own. I had a day off in January, thanks Martin Luther King. So I took that day and I said, you know what, I'm gonna try it. And I made some, and I think I went back and forth with you, and I'm like, hey, I'm making these tweaks. Like, what do you think? And you're like, yeah, I don't see why that wouldn't work. So we did that, and I don't think we didn't use toasted coriander before, right?
No, and we didn't use Belgian candy sugar.
Yeah, so that was like the biggest change that I had made. And the yeast. I changed the yeast.
Because I was using dry yeast when we did it.
So I went and found White Labs has WLP 500 or something. I forget what it is.
Whatever their Belgian.
Yeah, but it's literally a monastery strain.
Yeah,
I was reading something. I totally should keep that on the top of my brain because I was reading somewhere where the strain came from, and it was from like Chimay or like something like one of those like really well known ones. Anyway, so third year doing it. Brewed it, and just on a whim, even before I tasted the beer, I was like, I think I made the decision that I was just going to try, and not so much with the expectation that I was going to win. I want to understand the process. I want to know if I get feedback, and
you'll get. I mean, even with the score, you'll get some feedback.
Yeah. So just kind of understanding how they score and like what they're looking for, and then potentially taking that to make some adjustments to it next year and possibly trying to do it again next year. And then like using that kind of the knowledge of how the process goes, we can discuss like if we want to like do some more stuff together and like
totally. I'd like to do that.
A couple of beers and just submit it just for the hell of it.
No, for sure. I think we should do that. But also, I think it's awesome that finally, for how long you've been brewing, how long I've been brewing, how long the rest of us have been brewing that we know here that have been on the podcast, that someone's finally submitted a beer to the National Homebrew Competition. So that's just awesome in general. Like, who cares what, like, ratings will come back, scores are just scores, but it's kind of fun just to do it to see what happens. And it'd be nice to, like, I'd like to do more beers, but also that triple is fantastic. And whatever comes back, let's adjust it and let's work on that together. Yeah. And we can submit other stuff too, but like, I would love for you to get like some placement, first, second, or third. Who cares? Honestly, for the triple, because it is a good beer, and I'd like to see where they put it. And then who knows, man? Could have placed this year. We'll see. I'm excited. I'm excited for you. Thanks for doing it. Thanks for fucking being the first one of us to do it.
Yeah, I mean it's a simple process to sign up. It was $29. We are lucky being here in Chicago that Dovetail Brewery was a spot to drop off. So I could easily, during the window, just walk in, like, hey, I got some beers for this competition. Thanks. They're like, cool.
Hey, thanks a lot.
They just toss them behind the bar. Literally.
Cool. Your name's on there. We got it.
Yeah.
Just joking. The guys at Dovetail are great.
Yeah, but you literally have to have, like, there's a specific, like, the labels have to be on in a specific way.
Yeah.
So when I got that email, or the email the other day, I sent you the screenshot. It was like, it's like you successfully submitted your beers. Like, you did everything correctly, and
which is great.
Well, that's the first step.
That's the first. Yeah, exactly. I was saying that's the first step, and that's all that matters. Well, we're looking forward to find out what happened. Oh, Jesus! I can't believe after this recording we still have another bourbon barrel-aged beer to drink. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with that submission, and like you said, it'd be fun to do some other beers, but it'd also be fun to take their notes, see what they say, and tweak the triple.
Yeah, I'd be curious.
Tweak the triple to make it something that we'll place.
I'd be curious to see how in depth the notes get.
I know. I've heard that there, depending on competition, there are some things that are just like, this is what we got, and this is why we didn't choose it. And there's other ones like
lacking this,
depending on the judges,
too much this.
It could, yeah, exactly. I think it depends on the judge, or like whoever writes it up. So that's exciting, man.
Because so when I was looking through this whole process, I or you or any one of these listeners could sign up to be a judge.
Yeah,
like it's literally a volunteer sign up sheet,
which is cool. I mean, like,
which is crazy. Like, this is a national homebrew competition, and you're like, so like. Some alky down the street could be like,
but yeah,
hey man, free booze.
I feel like we've got like maybe 10 more years before we have to worry about like some alky down the street who's signing up for the homebrew competition. I don't know, honesty.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that any of the judges are.
No. No, but
it's just like the way I was like, I'm like, I don't. As much as I would like to, I was like, I'm not qualified to give somebody a score.
We got a podcast. We're qualified to do anything. Yeah. And Aggie's here. Hey, Aggie, how are you?
Girl.
Oh. All right, man. If you back to the beer that we were drinking, out of the how many layers are there to?
You could just say how many nesting dolls.
How many nesting dolls would you give this?
I'm going 4.25.
I'm going 4.25 as well. It's really good. I guess the only thing that why it wouldn't be higher, I want a little more body. I like a barrel aged stout or a stout in general with like a thickness, but that's personal preference. But I think anybody who likes a barrel aged beer would love this.
Yeah, and my thing is on the body comment, like I feel like when these beers get higher up and it's 14 plus, more body is needed to kind of support.
Aggie is now by me. One of the pets. So, Brandon, I love you, buddy.
Love you too, bud.
And everybody, thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Cheers. This has been The Malting Hour. Be sure to follow us on all social media by searching The Malting Hour and at themaltinghour.com. You can also follow us individually on social media. Brandon can be found on Instagram as BMDub81, on Twitter, BDub81, and on Untapped as BDubDrinksBeer. Tony can be found on Instagram and Untapped under Ace of Help Chicago, on Twitter, The Ace of Help Chicago. Clark can be found as Clarkowski on all three. Dan can be found on Instagram as hip__hops and hip hops on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe, like, and rate the show on your preferred podcast listening platform. Until next time, cheers from all of us at The Malting Hour.